y'all hear me? Okay. But anyway, have y'all ever heard of that term they call pull yourself up by your bootstraps? Have y'all ever heard that term, family? Because according to ICE, there's a lot of people out here not pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. Like they always tell us to do. Yeah, so we want to talk about that because when we looked at the reports from ICE, it said it's a lot of people not pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. Actually, they're not really pulling themselves up by the flip-flaps. So let me check this out before I'm going to let some people get in, and then I'm going to finish up. But y'all heard that term, family? Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I've been hearing that term a lot, and I wanted to talk about it today. Hold on, family. Let me get this together. Let a couple of more people get in here right quick. It is sideways. Okay. Hold on, family. Hold on. It's sideways. I see. Is that working? Or is it still sideways? It's still sideways. So let me go up. But anyway, it's a lot of people saying, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. So I just want to get that clear understanding about why this is being said. And then ICE has revealed that it's a lot of people who are not pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Thank you so much, Jerry Lipcomb. That thing is still sideways, isn't it? Hold on. That thing is still sideways. Still sideways. What is really going on here? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, family. Let me try it this way. Okay. Let me try it this way, family. But anyway, they said pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And I haven't seen anyone doing that yet, according to ICE. Let me make sure that this is right first. Yeah, that is. That's right. So let me go back to this. But I just want to say hello to everyone. Thank you all for showing up today. And hold on, family. Let me get this right here. I'm going to put this down here. Let's get this thing right. But ICE did a report. Let me just go ahead on and just say it. ICE did a report, and they said that it was a lot of people not pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. And so I have been hearing that slogan for a minute now about pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And actually, everybody who's been saying that is basically cheating. Let's just put it that way. That is just the bottom line. Everybody who's been saying that comes to find out they have been cheating with it. Okay? So that's point blank, period. Point blank, period. Hold on, family. Okay. Now I'm going to put this right here. Now. Okay. So thank you so much, Jerry Lipcomb. It's greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Let me okay. So anyway, people have been saying, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Jerry Lipcomb says, always accurate commentary. Thank you. Kendall R in the house. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I'm going to just let a little bit more people get in and then I just go head on with it. Because I just felt it was time for us to talk about this situation about pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But then ICE is saying, hey, y'all, it's a lot of people that's really not pulling themselves up by the bootstraps because they are cheating and making y'all think that y'all are not really grinding and participating in society. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that because well, first, let me do this disclaimer because I know it's going to be some mad people about this, but I'm sorry. I just have to say it, okay? So, y'all bear with me and let me just say this right here. Under fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Acts in 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, and personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Yes, fair use. All rights and credits go directly to its rightful owner. This video is purely for fair use, opinion, and entertainment. Enjoy. And we also want to add that everything in this video is alleged. Yes. Okay, family. So, thank you so much, Kendall R. Thank you so much to Jerry Lipcomb. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. But anyway, we are seeing and hearing a lot from a lot of people that they come from other places, okay, other countries. But when they come here, I've noticed that we have been hearing for years, and ICE has exposed a lot of the new details, which the details to me isn't really new because we was feeling like it, but we just didn't have any proof. And so it's a lot of people that will come here and say Black Americans, white Americans need to pull themselves up by the bootstrap because they get here and they work hard and they grind and they can make it in society and they trying to figure out why Black Americans can't do it or why white Americans can't do it. And we always say, you know, well, y'all get a little bit of a handout and some American citizens do too, but you know, y'all get a lot of benefits that a lot of citizens are not able to really get their hands on, okay? But it was no, y'all are lazy. Y'all need to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Well, Einstein basically said that a lot of these people can't even pull themselves up by the flip-flaps, okay? Can't even keep the flip-flaps on without cheating. Basically, point blank, period. Okay, so let's get down to it. And right here, y'all would see, we're going to talk about this as well, because this officer, he said that there was some protesters that was giving ICE some problems. And he's telling everybody to keep their hands off ICE. He's from Chicago. He's one of the superior police officers. He said, keep your hands off these folks and all that because they can protect themselves if need be. Okay. So now, also, we're going to talk about Cantrell. She is asking for $75 million after her and Vappy have went on their little rendezvous for about a couple of years. Well, now the bank account over there in Louisiana is looking broke, and she needs $74 million, and she says she wants the taxpayers to pay for it. What? They already paid for all these lavish trips you and Vappy done went on chasing sausages and fish. But anyway, we'll get on that in a minute, okay? We already done went through that. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel already. Thank you so much. Darlene Chestnut, what's going on? Kenny, how you doing? Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. But anyway, so let's get right on down to this. Now, a lot of people, like I said, they come over here, tell us to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. Well, that's millions and millions of people. They say we lazy, we poor, we stay on government assistance and all that, and we just won't pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, okay? And they have the nerve to fix their mouth to say that after ICE has revealed about all this scamming and cheating, okay, that people have been doing. So as y'all will see right there, it says ICE raided, y'all remember this, when they went into that Hyundai place in Atlanta or Georgia, and they arrested 475 people. They say about 500 people, okay? And they said that they was illegal workers, okay? So now people say pull yourself up by the bootstrap, but then they are doing things illegally to get ahead. How come y'all are not ahead yet? How come all the white Americans and black Americans haven't got ahead yet? Well, if you see that it's a lot of jobs being taken by people who are working illegally. Okay, they're not going by the right and correct way like American citizens do, like we have to do. We have to go by things the correct and right way, okay? But when you're cheating with it, and then you turn around and say, why don't you pull yourself up by the bootstraps? Okay, now we say, okay, but you're cheating. So actually, you can't even wear our boots. You telling us to pull up the straps on because you can't even hold your toes to have a good enough grip to hold your flip-flops without cheating and scamming. So ICE has revealed that it has been a lot of scamming and cheating throughout this United States government. Okay, now I'm just calling it like it's real. Okay, but as y'all will see, y'all remember that about the plant. Okay, so then you'll see here people on short-term recreational visas are not authorized to work in the United States, ICE said, adding that the raid was necessary to protect American jobs. But that's not it. Okay, now check this out. Okay, y'all remember here, this superintendent. He got this superintendent job making about $300,000 a year, had a fake Social Security card, fake everything just about, okay? Everything basically fake. And he got that job. Now, American citizens have to get that job the right way. When we apply for jobs, we have to give our damn near birth certificate, and then we have to give our Social Security card, then we have to give our driver's license, and none of that can be fake. If some of that is fake, then they wind up calling the police on us while we sitting there trying to apply for the job, and then the police arrest us because we got fake documents, okay? But they have been running around with fake documents and getting all these good paying jobs by telling tales and telling lies and scamming and, scheming. So as you see here, this man said that he went to this Morgan University. Come to find out, he never went to this. He went there, but he did not complete classes, okay, at all. And then you'll see here that he also was a principal at a school in Baltimore, and he was switching the grades to make that school look like they was doing well. So then we say, how come our kids are not kind of learning and comprehending a lot in certain states? Well, this is some of the answer, not all of the answer. When you have someone that's running the school system and they are making F's into A's, and then there's some kids that didn't even attend class, he was still giving them A's, okay? But it was illegal and wasn't even supposed to be in that job position anyway. Oh, y'all follow me here. Okay. So when people say pull yourself up by the bootstraps, you have to have your paperwork in order too, and do it the right way without cheating. Because American citizens have to. See, you can't cheat and then tell somebody Hey, what's wrong? Like you get, you're cheating. You get like a whole yard up ahead, and then the relay start. And then when the relay start, you win, and then look behind you and tell that person, why don't you pull yourself up by the bootstraps? I know you can do better than that. Well, you cheated the whole time for decades. You've been cheating in this relay race. Yeah, that's what it's given. Okay. And as y'all will see, and let me see what y'all talking about here. Okay. Darlene Chestnut said we will go to prison. Yeah, we will be in a lot of trouble forging documents. Hello, Mildred Lightfoot. How you doing? Glad to see you. You're right. We will be in a lot of trouble forging stuff. Okay. We really would. And so then you have where you see right there, it says Dr. Roberts' actions were meant to make failing schools appear successful. Okay. And I'm just showing that he changed about 12,542 grades. Then you have this man here who definitely was sitting up there, and he had him a fake CDL. And it's a lot of them that have fake CDLs. And they are driving around cheating. That's cheating. That's cheating. But then they will say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Why? How come we can come over here and be so successful and y'all are not? But now, not all of them are cheating. But it's a lot of illegals that are cheating. Okay? And it's some legal immigrants who are cheating. Not all, but some. Okay. But the majority of what we have been seeing now here for decades is a lot of people have been cheating and cheating the United States and the government and assistance out of money, but then tell us we need to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps because we are doing it the correct way. If we can cheat, we'll be way up there too. Yeah, but we can't. We get caught real quick. Now, you know, they said that you have to have a star on your new license and all that stuff like that. Well, he have a star on his license, but it's fake. They're cheating with CDLs, driver's license, social security cards, everything else. Birth certificates, even death certificates. We'll talk about that in a minute because they also say that the death certificates are being forged. Yeah. So, as y'all will see right here, now, this is what ICE is saying about this situation that just happened 5 days ago. Our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays. People claim to work at businesses that can't be found, forged documents. Then y'all will see here that it says federal officers announced arrest operation. Twin Shields, an immigrant fraud operation in the Twin City area on Tuesday, according to the United States Citizenship and Immigration Service Director Joseph Edlow. Operation Twin Shields began on September the 19th. Since then, investigators have conducted over 1,000 site visits. Our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, the visa overstays, the businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of the HB1 visa system, abuse of the F1 visa, and many other documents. Okay. He added that the investigators found indications of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety or national security concerns in 275 cases. So they was arresting it. And then y'all will see here about the fraud. And they said a son of a suspected, allegedly overstayed the visa. 4 document people arrested. 42 immigrant cases referring to ICE or given illegal notice. But I want y'all to hear this right here. Okay? I want y'all to hear this right here.
September 19th, officers from our Fraud Detection and National Security Directorate, working in teams, have conducted over 1,000 site visits across the Minneapolis-St. Paul area as part of this operation. What they found should shock all of America. Focusing on a list of over 1,000 target cases involving more than 900 individuals, our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work at businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visas, and many other discrepancies. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases interviewed. We found troubling patterns with the Uniting for Ukraine program that should have raised serious concerns under other administrations, such as an individual filing to sponsor more than 100 aliens, and organizations sponsoring hundreds. We are continuing to investigate these cases. Some of the other troubling cases that our officers found. In one case, officers identified an alien who had overstayed his visa waiver, who was the son of a known or suspected terrorist on the no-fly list. He had previously been found to have engaged in marriage fraud, which resulted in the denial of several immigration benefit requests. He was arrested and is now presently being returned to his country of origin. In another, an individual admitted to obtaining a fake death certificate in Kenya for just $100 to prove he was no longer married. In reality, his wife is alive, living here in Minneapolis, and is the mother of 5 of his children. And incidentally, he has another wife living in Sweden with whom he has an additional 3 children.
Hot mess. Now he over here, he done got a fake death certificate from over there where he from in Kenya, and came over here, said his wife is no longer here, when actually she is living alive and well and taking care of 4 children. Okay, that's all just to get over on the United States government. Why is this?
Another case, an alien entered the United States without inspection in 2023, was released by Border Patrol. The alien married a U.S. citizen while in removal proceedings and was interviewed at the Minneapolis-St. Paul USCIS field office just last week, where both he and his American spouse stated under oath that their marriage was legitimate. The USCIS officers conducting the interview were suspicious. The site visits were authorized the same day. The American spouse ultimately that afternoon admitted the marriage was fraudulent and entered into solely for immigration purposes and withdrew her petition for that alien. This type of same-day action for from interview to site visit has really never happened before. And I am incredibly impressed and thankful to the diligent work of the agents who made that happen for the first time, but not for the last time. And finally, I wanted to note, in one case, an alien engaged in marriage fraud by taking advantage of an elderly U.S. citizen spouse, including threats and severe neglect. The American spouse was able to divorce the alien with the help of her family and caregivers, but the family still lives in fear of retaliation from the alien over the failed marriage fraud scam. These are not victimless crimes. Every case of fraud we uncover damages our national security, undermines the integrity of our immigration system, and as I just gave you an example, has real consequences. I want the American people to know that we are declaring war on immigration fraud. We will continue to pursue those who seek to abuse our immigration system using every tool at our disposal.
Well, point blank, period. The man said they tired of everybody frauding, okay? But my thing is, we better not hear nobody else. I need for everybody to can that. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Can that. Throw it in the trash. Throw it in the dumpster. Because, hey, look here. You can't tell nobody to pull themselves up by the bootstraps when your ass out here cheating. Yeah, so trash that saying. Because we have found out now, all of these scams and cheating is going on as if he was doing it the correct way and the right way, and it come to find out you are not. See, when you do things the correct way and the right way and by the law, it does take a little bit longer to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, okay? But obviously, a lot of people wouldn't know that because they out here cheating the government. And then got the nerve to talk about Black Americans and white Americans about how they are not pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. So people need to can that real quick, fast, and in a hurry, because the next time I hear somebody say that American citizens, y'all been here for decades, y'all been here for centuries, and you still can't pull yourself up by the bootstrap. Well, yeah, because we doing stuff the right way, and it's real hard to do stuff the right way and the correct way and by the law. But hey, if we was able to cheat like that, man, yeah, and we wouldn't have got away with it this long. No, we wouldn't have. No, we wouldn't have. Let me see what y'all saying over here in the chat. Thank you, Kendall, for all your great hospitality in the chat. Yes. Yes. Okay. So now, ICE has basically exposed that the majority of a lot of illegal immigrants, and some who are legal, not all of y'all who are legal, but a lot of legal ones too, are cheating and scamming. Okay? And Homeland Security and ICE clearly said it. You hear it right there. And we had suspected it. Yeah, well, you know, y'all get this and y'all get that, and y'all get money to hold y'all out when you first get here. You get on food stamps, or you get on SNAP or whatever, health insurance and all that stuff. We had already knew that. But to this degree, they got some that's making fake death certificates. Yes, fake Social Security cards, fake CDLs, fake driver's license, fake documents just to get over here. Or while they're here, still doing it. Yeah. Swindling millions, almost billions of dollars a year. But see, we know better. Black Americans, white Americans, they don't have to do all that fraud stuff because, see, we know better. We know better. Being successful and achieving your goals, it requires a lot of hard work if you are doing it legit. But ICE just said there's a hell of a lot of people who are not doing it legit just to get ahead. Yeah, which we had already knew it, but we needed some confirmation. Yeah. Yeah, we needed some confirmation. And as you will see right here, at the start of 2023, the next cost of illegal immigrants for the United States at the federal, state, and local levels was at least $150.7 billion. Yeah, See, what's all that scamming and cheating and all that stuff, and then turn around and deflect, and then look at us and say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. What? You around here cheating? Yes. So y'all better can that. We better not hear nobody. And they say that a lot of this stuff has cost the taxpayers, each taxpayer, United States citizens, has cost them each $1,156 per year. And you can say $957 a year if you count some of the illegal immigrants' tax dollars as well that they pay into. Yeah. So I just wanted to get that point straight. Recent estimate ranged from 10.3 million to 11.4 million unauthorized individuals living in the United States. Okay. And they just been flooding and flooding and flooding. But you know, if you do it the right way, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. What I'm saying is it's about time that we address. It's been going on all week. This has been top news about all this fraud, even that superintendent that was over there in Iowa. How did he get that job? And there's so many Americans that apply for jobs like that and they catch hell. They got to do the reference and they got to do this. Oh no, you got to come back with this. That's not right. Come back with that. We need all the references from 10 years ago. We need we haven't contacted every job that you had yet in 20 years. We need to contact each job that you had for 20 years. Even though those jobs had closed down, we still trying to find someone that could tell us something about you. And then when you do all that, and then it's no, this is not right, or this is not correct, or how long, it don't look like you have that much experience. But then this man came right up in there with nothing legal and got $300,000 a year, superintendent. Wow. Wow. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is my opinion, okay? Let me see what y'all saying in here. Real Eric Y, what's up? He said, preach. How you doing? And let me just say this too right quick, family. I was wondering why it was a whole bunch of stank, okay? We'll get well, let me see. Let me just go ahead on and read this, and then I'll tell y'all about the stank. Okay. Yes, immigrants are arrested for using or processing fake documents in the United States. This is a form of immigration fraud, which carry penalties including imprisonment, fines, and potential deportation. Okay. So yeah, there is repercussions for doing all this. ICE had made arrests of individuals using fraudulent green cards and social security cards to gain employment, leading to federal charges for illegal entry. So yeah. Now, let me tell you about this stank. This is my opinion, okay? Because we was wondering why that it's a big stank about ICE arresting the worst criminals that are illegal immigrants, okay? We was wondering why it was a big stink about it. Now, it's given to me, my opinion, that a lot of people was acting a fool about this mission with ICE coming after immigrants, okay? But it's given to me, my opinion, that most people didn't want these scams to be uncovered. That's what it's given to me. Because see, once ICE started arresting them and everything else, and then they started, ICE already knew their background and who was illegal and who was doing what or whatever, but then it would have to be exposed. And they would have to put a stamp on it, on what's really going on out here. And that way we would know, oh, okay, so they cheating. They scamming to get ahead. Oh, okay. We knew that. We just needed somebody to put a stamp on it. And ICE did that. The government did that. So my thing is, it's given that. Is that why, I'm asking the question. Now, this is just a question. Is that why, I'm going to need some people to hit that like button. I see like 9 likes and 70 people in the room here. Okay. Now, a lot of people might not be liking what I'm saying because they just want to hear, yeah, drop off. If you don't want to hear it, if you don't like it, please exit the room. Please do. Or hit the like button. Show the sister some love. Show the sister a little love at least. But anyway, let me get back to it. Okay. I was wondering why some people were acting a fool. I was wondering why they was acting a fool about ICE coming in and detaining people. Because see, if you detain them and you grab them, they'll be hollering, hey, look here. Hey, they told me I'd come over here and then I was getting this for free and I was getting that for free. Yeah, so-and-so, he makes the social security cards and such makes the driver's license and such makes the CDL. Hell, we got our CDL from the Department of Revenue. It's somebody that work in there that just give it to us. Yes. See, they'll start spilling the beans. And then we'll know what's really going on, what's going down, is shaky and flaky around this camp. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is that why everybody's giving a whole big stank about ICE coming in, grabbing illegal aliens? Because then we see what's really going on. Mm-hmm. I'm just asking the question, is that what it is? Mm-hmm. Because it's given that people wasn't all that concerned about illegal immigrants for real. People ain't really all that concerned about these criminals being arrested. That, to me, my opinion is that they didn't want scams to be exposed when some of these illegal immigrants get arrested. Because they gonna start telling and talking. Yeah, it is. Can I get a U visa? Can I get a U visa for telling on? Can I get a U visa for telling on everybody? Yes. And they scamming on that too. Show y'all that too in a minute. But the moral of this story is, and the meat and potatoes of this story is, I don't want to hear nobody else talking about pull yourself up by the bootstraps when y'all out here cheating in the flip-flaps. Point blank, period. Mm-hmm. Now, I ain't even got to go through that because we already know. But this is the U visa. Y'all remember us talking about U visas? I was saying that when we was talking about the car story. I was saying that, you know, the people in the house that was in there with Hugo, when they heard that terrible commotion, they could have called and then reported the crime and then try to ask for a U visa so they could stay. Right? But they saying that they scamming on that too, family. Check it out. It's right here. They say they scamming on that too. As y'all will see, it was 62 count indictment. Described the defendants and others more than 9.5 years. So they've been doing this for more than 9.5 years. What they would do is make a false police report and they'll say something like, I just seen an armed robbery. And they'll act like they'll do a fake police report now. And then they'll act like they seen this robbery. They'll give a description and all that. And then they'll ask for a U visa. But the whole time, it wasn't never no robbery. It wasn't never nobody done snatched nobody's purse. It wasn't no break-in, no nothing. They was just making up false crimes to get a U visa. And they supposed to say, hey, look, we gonna testify in court. Who you gonna testify against when you lying about it the whole time? But they was getting away with it with the fake police report. So it was somebody must have been in that police station that was doing these fake reports for them and then saying, hey, they gonna be a witness on this here crime. So they gets to stay and they're going to be on a U visa where they can become permanent citizens. What? Yes. Mm-hmm. And you see where they was doing it at? Right there. Lafayette, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Release date 7/17/2025. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's when they busted this. And they got 62 count indictment, as y'all see right there. 62 count indictment on that. So, hey, it's scamming everywhere. Okay? We already talked about them getting all kind of benefits and all that stuff like that. And then you will see 15 illegal immigrants caught using the fake documents, Social Security cards, counterfeit Social Security cards, counterfeit driver's license, counterfeit CDLs, counterfeit birth certificates, counterfeit death certificates. So all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to hear nobody else saying, pull yourself up by no type of bootstraps. Mm-mm. Now, let me see what y'all saying here. Jacqueline. She said, act a fool. Tim Ho Fleckins. All a scam. Yeah. Darlene Chestnut. I know they heard her screaming for help. Yeah, I know they did too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know they did too. You know, that's sad. But anyway, so let me move on to the next one. I just want to make sure that we don't hear nobody else talking about no pull yourself up by no type of bootstraps. We don't want to hear it. No, we don't. We don't. We really don't want to hear that. As y'all will see right here, this is ICE. I want to talk about this. They said that this past Saturday on the 4th, ICE was getting kind of bum rushed, boxed in, was really in a need of help with the protesters. They could have handled themselves, but it was said that they didn't want to really use force on the protesters. Okay. And so they said that 30 ICE agents was being attacked by protesters while at an ICE facility in Chicago. ICE called the police department to come and calm and handle their crowd, their protesters, their citizens down because they was getting rowdy. They was trying to attack them and do all that. And ICE didn't want to seriously harm these people. So they called the Chicago PD for backup and tell them, hey, get your people under control because we're not trying to really hurt these people, okay? Y'all need to get them and settle them down because they're not really supposed to be over here anyway on our turf, okay? Now, when ICE called, a superior of Chicago Police Department told the officers to stand down and don't go help ICE, okay? This has been going viral the whole time, okay? So this is what the audio sound like. And then I will talk about it in a minute because I'll let y'all hear it.
Rank and file Chicago police officer behind it is telling us that they are outraged that the stand down order went out to them after federal agents were attacked. The order appears to have come through a communication from the chief of patrol over the communication through the Office of Emergency Management and Communication, reading, no units will respond to this. Multiple police sources have confirmed to us the message is authentic and it is backed up by audio of the stand down order.
Tommy, what's going on?
Per the chief of patrol, we have all the units that per 999, chief of patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location. All right, and 999, just to confirm, 39th Policeman Cassie, they were saying that they were being surrounded by that large crowd, and they were requesting the police were not sending. I'm waving off all the cars heading to 39th Policeman Cassie.
She said we're not responding to it, waving off all cars. Wow. Salute, Miss Brown. Salute, Fred Red. Salute to you all. Wow. Now, see, I don't know about a lot of y'all here in the Knowledge family, but I've had a lot of people in my family that served in the military. We also have a lot that wears the badge, okay, on the federal level and on the state level. When a lot of people, when we heard this Saturday, I can't tell y'all how our heart dropped and we instantly stood in prayer. And we was praying for the ICE people. Now, put all this politics stuff aside. Human. These men and women that wear badges and uniforms have kids, have wives, have grandkids, and every day they put on that uniform. I know. Okay. They worry if that's going to be the last time they see their household and their family. But they shake it off and they serve this country the best way they know how. And they made an oath to do that. Regardless of who the mission order came from, they have to do their job. And when we heard officers called on fellow officers to, you don't have to really help us. Just pull off these people. These are y'all folks. Y'all on the state level. We on the federal level. Get your folks and tell them to get behind that barricade like they supposed to be. And it was only 30 ICE agents out there at the time. And the protesters outnumbered them. And when we heard that dispatcher say, ain't nobody going over there, stand down. Basically let them fend for themselves. That was the most heartbreaking, disgusting thing I've ever heard. Are you serious right now? So we're going to play politics with people's life. Damn, who gave the order for ICE to be there? I can guarantee you, if they didn't have to be there, they wouldn't want to be there. But that's their order that they took an oath to do. Wow. Wow. Let me see what y'all saying. Wow. Anyway, so that dispatch went out. And as y'all will see right here, this is this came from the police department. It says Chicago Police Department initial response to claim they told officers to not help ICE. To clarify misinformation correctly circulating, CPD officers did in fact respond to the pow scene involving federal authorities on Saturday to maintain public safety and traffic control. Now, let me tell y'all what happened there, family, is that it's a lady that took her car that Saturday. That's why ICE called this Chicago Police Department for backup. It's a lady that took her vehicle and she tried to run over the ICE agents. Okay. She went in, she cars, tore up by 3 or 4, and they feel threatened. They have that right to do what they're trained to do. Okay. And so they came to the scene, but guess who came to the scene? The officers who disobeyed that leave ICE by themselves and let them fend for themselves. It was some officers that said, oh no, I can't leave my fellow man out there like that. I'm going to have to disrespect this order and go with my oath to protect my fellow man. No matter if he's federal, state, whatever. I'm going to go and see if we can just calm things down. Those are the ones who came. So you had some officers that did still went when they was told to stand down. Yeah. This is a little of the order that y'all will see. It says here, as y'all could see, I don't know if y'all could see this, October the 4th, 2025 at 12:36. So that's when they dispatched for help. Okay. And so it's on ticket that the call came in, but the dispatch came over and said, denied. Stand down. Don't even go that way. Wave cars away from that area. Okay? So that's what they did, family. That's what they did. But like I said, it was some officers who said they was not going to leave ICE out there by themselves. Okay, now my thing is, Chicago has a high, and this is a man who used to work for Chicago PD. And this is what his statement said. He said, cover their, you know what, BS. I have never been more embarrassed to be a former member of this department with the current leadership in place. I feel for the men and women left behind, forced to work under these cowards as they command channel. Longtime raking Chicago police source. So he didn't say who he was, but he did say he worked for the Chicago PD a while back. Okay, now this is the superior. This is the one who said he gonna need everybody to keep their hands off ICE. Okay, and that y'all think that they something to play with, and they not. He said now they gonna do what they can as police officers in Chicago, but he gonna need everybody to keep their hands up off ICE, okay, and off his fellow men and women who wear uniform as well in Chicago, okay, because some of the protesters started. The police who did show up for ICE, the protesters started calling those police officers that belong to Chicago Police Department sellouts and traitors because they came to get order for ICE. Okay. But my thing is this the reason why Chicago has one of the highest rates of crime in the United States? Because they love to tell their officers to stand down when something is going down. I'm just asking the question because they do have their crime is out of control. Okay, I don't care about people say, well, it's down a little bit. Okay, so you're gonna tell us, okay, basically you're saying, well, 2,000 people passed last year, but only 1,000 people passed this year from crime. What? That's still high. Yes. That's basically what it's saying. That old peacock head, Brandon, he loved, rooster haircut. He loved to say that. Oh, well, you know, our crime is down from last year. Okay, last year you might have had 2,000. This year you got 1,000. That's still 1,000 lives gone. But anyway, I'm just asking the question. Because we clearly heard the dispatch say stand down. So we're trying to figure out. I'm just asking the question. Is that the reason why Chicago crime rate is so high? Because they are used to telling people to stand down. And then they go eat potato chips and eat on some Dunkin' Donuts and all that stuff while crime is happening. Oh, stand down. We ain't got time to fool with that today. Because obviously, if you stand down on your own fellow men, imagine them standing down on regular citizens. I'm just asking a question. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, this man here said that he want everybody to leave ICE and his folks alone. So check out what he said as well.
Let me first talk about the Trust Act. The Trust Act prohibits law enforcement in the state of Illinois from engaging in assisting federal agents when it comes to immigration enforcement. We abide by that law. The city ordinance, the welcoming city ordinance, goes a little further.
before I let y'all hear that, let me check out this comment. What's up, sweetie? Sweets 917. She said, "Are you from Chicago?" Now, I don't know if she was addressing that to me. And if so, Sweets 917, I would like you to put down there, yeah, you addressing that to me, so I can address to you where I'm coming from. Okay? And then we'll go from there. And while we wait on you to reply, Patrick said, my brother is an active military, and if they're told to arrest people, they will arrest people. Exactly. Yeah. Nice. How you doing? Please stop CGP of Chicago. You're not that guy, nor is Amen. Okay. Anyway, I thought it was okay, sweetie. I was asking you that question. That's all. Okay, sweetie. I'm so glad that you said that, because I just want to show you this right here. Okay. I just want to show you this right here. I'm not from Chicago, but we serve this country. Okay. Serve it proudly. So, and baby Kate, let me show you this right here. Can't show you I can't show you the front of it, but what I can do is show you this part of it, okay? Because see, you knew, the Knowledge family already know. But this right here, this case, I'm gonna just turn it around briefly. It's a case that you probably can't see, but it's an officer hat in there. Okay? Like I said, we are buried with officers with badges in my family. And as you see, that flag sitting over there, we are buried with military in this family. So I don't have to be from Chicago to be passionate about our fellow men. Understand that. It don't matter what state it is. We serve the country. Understand that. So I have a right to talk. When I heard that phone dispatcher say, stand down, that was the most disgusting thing to our fellow men who serve this country every day, all day. So you can be safe and we can be safe. So I hope that answered your question, baby sweets. That's what it is here. So no, I don't have to be from Chicago, and I'm not from Chicago, but I am from New York City, if that makes a difference. But I am now here on the Gulf Coast. So yeah, I am very passionate about that. I don't care what state it is. That could have happened in Alaska, and I'd have rolled Alaska bumper the same way. Yeah. See, our fellow men don't care what state you at. Because if we go to any other state, and if we see an officer in trouble, on duty, off duty, not your state or is your state, we gonna help that fellow officer. Oh yeah, that's a must. That's a must. Yeah. So that was that. Okay. And I love you, sweet. I'm glad you asked that, because I need it for a lot of people to know that, because a lot of new people that has joined cafe of knowledge. Now, our old subscribers already knew this. But it's some new people that, didn't know. And they wonder, well, damn, how come your panties in a bunch, sister? Now y'all know. Yeah. Okay, so before I let this man here talk, salute, Patrick. And you can take that to the bank. Yes. Darlene Chestnut. Oh, I thought it was to me. Now, that's why I always ask. That's why I always ask so we can clear things up. But thank you so much, sweetie, because I'm glad that you asked that question because it was a lot of people who didn't know, baby. And she said, I got friends in New York. What, honey? Yes. Yes, sweet 917. Yes. New York. Coney Island right here. Mike Ray said, oh my God, we went to, oh my God, I love I love my Coney Island, honey. Yes, I love it so much. Yes. Thanks for explaining to me. You so welcome, sweets 917. Cause I, I'm kind of with you. The way I was talking, like, damn, was that one of her husband out there with Ice? What's really going on? Because she's so passionate. But that's what it is, baby. Okay. So let's hear what he has to say. Because he said that he wants those protesters to keep their hands off Ice and want them to keep their hands off of his men too. Because when his men showed up, they were trying to beat up his men too around that camp. And then we'll talk about that in a minute. But check it out.
Goes a little further. It even prohibits us from asking someone their status. We abide by that ordinance. Because in law enforcement, we don't make the laws, we uphold them. And we're sworn to do so. And we take our oath seriously. Engaging with federal agents, we do it on a regular basis. We have task force officers who are out there every single day working to stop human trafficking, drug enforcement, gun violence, gun recoveries, search warrants, and everything in between when it comes to violent crime in our city. We have a great partnership with our federal agents, and we still do, and we will continue to work with them around violent crime. But let me explain how important it is to understand how difficult it is for our officers at times. Because when we look at the Trust Act and the Welcoming City Ordinance, sometimes there's a struggle when you're walking that line to make sure that you're not violating either one of those things, and at the same time enforcing the law the way that we're supposed to. One thing about law enforcement, I'll tell you this right now, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But we accept that. So I'm not going to stand here and make excuses or pretend like the job is not a struggle, so we're going to make excuses about it. No, we're not going to do that. Again, these men and women go out there every single day, and these are the things that they fight through. And my leadership team wants to make sure that our officers don't get caught up in something where they end up in an investigation, fairly or unfairly, and they want to make sure that these officers are safe and that they can keep everyone else safe. So although we do not engage in immigration enforcement, we are going to enforce the law when the laws are violated. So let me be clear to the public about certain things. You have to excuse me, I'm a little dehydrated.
Now he's the superintendent.
Let me make this clear.
Of Chicago, police department.
Federal agents, ICE, HSI are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. And you are putting yourself in danger. Following law.
Now, let me stop right there and say something. Because I'm trying to figure out, when did people start jumping, attacking, windmilling, trying to kick, throw out, force saliva on officers, and officers don't grab your ass? I'm trying to figure out when that started, because see, where we from here in the United States, we can't box them in like that. You see what I'm saying? And they are showing a hell of a lot of patience, and they are being surrounded and all that. Now, see, my thing is, when 5-0 come down the street and pick up Pookie and Ray Ray and all them like that, and all of us are standing around the streets, and then they picking them up probably for something that they done did or whatever, and it's a crowd out there, that crowd don't try to fight the police when they started this. See, that's why I say you can tell the people who are foundated here and the people who aren't. Because the ones who foundated on this land know better not to do that. But then you have some right now that they getting so much leeway. But then if a police department come to a club, and that it's a whole bunch of people just standing out there, and the fight done broke out, and they come to break up that fight. First thing we all do is, here come Popo. We leaving. We leaving. We don't even like being in their face. Because we don't even want them asking us no questions. But in these cases, they all up in these folk face. Throwing all kind of smoke bombs at them, windmilling on them, throwing sticks at them, throwing saliva at them, cursing them out, everything. And I'm like, damn, when this started? Let me see what y'all saying in the chat before I finish off with this man. Sweet 917 said, I swear I pulled the hell off. Yes, I'm telling you. When did this start where people actually are bold enough to fight not only state police, but the feds too? I ain't seen the family. I ain't seen, boy, this some new bold stuff. See, that's what you get when you always catering to certain people. You're catering and catering and catering and catering and catering and catering. And then the people who do respect you, you leave them behind. And the people who don't respect you are the ones you catered and catered and catered and catered to. And then when you can't cater to them no more, they ready to whoop your ass. And that's exactly what's happening. Yes. What's really going on? Thank you, Kendall R. Thank you. I don't know what that person said, but thank you. I know it had to been disrespect. It had to been something that we don't tolerate, okay? Put it point blank. And I don't know why people clicking on here anyway. They're trying to clearly say knowledge. And if you ain't got that, bounce. Please bounce. We ain't got time to play with preschoolers over here. Anyway, let's finish listening to what this man said.
Enforcement agents.
Thank you to the chat too.
The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them. If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agent.
And hold on for a minute. Now he is talking about, like, he's trying to tell y'all what not to do, your do's and your don'ts, okay? But anyway, I seen that Kendall R had timed out somebody with Joey Shabadoo. See, the Shabadoo in itself tells me this person wasn't even supposed to be over here, okay? Shabadoo. Where's you from? Where's your country at? What's really good? So you are the main one who causing all this confusion. Yes, that's why you're mad. Whatever you said, I don't know what you said. I ain't finna go back and see what you said. But what I do know is if you got timed out, you was something that we didn't like. And with a name like Shabadoo, you need to go back and redo that. Because that right in itself sounds like a fake social security card, a fake birth certificate, a fake driver's license, if you ask me, my opinion. Now, let's finish listening to what this man talking about.
You're using deadly force. And they can use deadly force in response to stop you. We need to be clear about these laws. We cannot become a society where we just decide to take everything in our own hands and start to commit crimes against law enforcement. It is a crime. You may not like what they're doing. I can understand that there's a lot of emotions out there, but that does not mean that you get to commit a crime, especially one that can lead to deadly force. We need to keep everyone safe. Our responsibilities when it comes to federal agents, and I've been asked these questions. We do not interfere with the duties and responsibilities of federal agents. We don't have to agree with it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to agree with it. We do not interfere with their orders. And when they go out to carry out their orders, they will do that the way that they're trained to do it and their understanding of what it is they have to do. Another one.
And that's another thing. They are carrying out orders. It's not personal that they're doing what they do. They're just carrying out orders. And, you know, you got the commander or the president or whoever giving out them orders, you know. But if they don't just stand around and do what they're supposed to do, then they get fired, you know. So they just doing their orders. They not personally don't like people. Nah, they just doing their job.
CPD will not arrest and cannot arrest federal agents because someone deems what they're doing is illegal or unlawful. Their rules of engagement are different from CPD and other local law enforcement agents.
And that's true. If ICE or somebody like that have done something that you don't like, you can always make a report on them. You can't do that. But I did see when they was doing the protest when the Chicago police officers did arrive to the scene Saturday, the first thing the protesters was saying, we want y'all to arrest ICE. What? They can't arrest no ICE. They don't have the authority to arrest ICE, and ICE can't arrest them. They can't. That furthermore shows that a lot of people don't know the law. And he's just saying a lot of people need to go back and read the laws, the United States law, when it comes to ICE and when it comes to your local police department, any federal police department. Read your law and see how it go. But boxing them jokers in, whether it's regular local state police, state troopers, Homeland Security, ICE, or whatever, boxing them in and running into their trucks and, powing their trucks and throwing smoke bombs at their trucks, man, y'all playing dangerous.
We need to be clear about this. If we're not clear about this, we will see another event like we saw Saturday. We cannot move like this in this city. If we want to keep the peace in this city, we need to be smart about how we do things. And attacking law enforcement under any circumstances is not safe for anyone. Because as I've said before, a member of law enforcement who cannot protect himself or herself cannot protect anyone else. And we have a responsibility to make sure that we protect ourselves and each other so that we can protect everyone else in this city. If for any reason a crime is being committed and ICE agent, state, local, police officers, if it involves law enforcement, we are going to show up. And whatever's going on there, we're going to work to stop it, put an end to it, calm the situation down. And if we need to stay there to continue to keep the situation calm, we will do exactly that. So I want to be clear about one of the things that we're going to do now. What we're going to do, and this is my decision because I need to be firm on this. When we show up to a scene and a crowd gathers, CPD is going to step out there. We're going to make sure that we maintain that scene and we keep people calm. This is our city, and we're going to make sure that we bring some type of calm or resolution to whatever's going on at that scene. We will be there. Now, when we look at what has happened, there's some things that we can work on. Because whenever you see something for the first time and you respond to it, there's always something that you can do better. That's what we do. And that's why we're having an after action about what happened so that we can prepare if something like this happens again, or to prepare to make sure that we can avoid it. So we learned some things. Now, I'm going to allow some questions from everyone here. I'll do my best to answer your questions
Now, won't y'all listen
to
to
the
one of
best
these
of my ability.
questions?
Again, I would like for everyone to stay on topic as to what we're talking about here right now. And when it's over, there's some things that I'm probably going to touch on if we don't get to them with the questions. So go ahead. Start here. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. Madison with Black Club Chicago. Superintendent, when you said there were 27 agents affected by the chemical agents used, can you expand on that? What do you mean by these officers were affected?
Well, thanks for that question, Madison. Our officers were out there. There were chemical agents dropped. Our officers were pulled from other locations to go over there. On Saturday, we had multiple events going on, including a large protest in the downtown area. So in order to help out at this location, we pulled officers from other places. They did not have the equipment to fight off a chemical agent. And they were affected by it. Were there any major injuries? No. Our officers are resilient and tough, and they were actually pretty tough on the scene. And but we made sure that it was documented just in case they had some after effects from it. We just want to make sure that our officers are safe. So,
yes, please be respectful in the chat. Please do. Please do. Thank you, Kendall R, because she is really trying so hard to show great hospitality. I see that the chat is too, except for one or two that's coming in, you know. And you know, we get those kind of knuckleheads sometimes, you know, but this is not the channel for that, okay? But this superintendent is talking about when the police officers who did go head on and go to the scene, they went unprepared, but they just wanted to get there to help their fellow officers. And when ICE, and when they got there, they didn't have their equipment for like when tear gas is thrown. And so they handled it. They went through it because ICE had to throw some tear gas, not at Chicago PD, but because it was just getting so out of control. When they did get help from some of the Chicago PD, they said it was about 20 of them that came against orders, according to what we just heard in the 911 call, okay? But they didn't have all their equipment, and some of them was choking or whatever, but they wasn't seriously affected by it. They sucked it up and they was okay. So that's what they talking about on that incident right there.
Those officers are doing good, and then thank you for the question, for asking.
And this next question, this person gonna say, well, we heard, this is before he heard that 911 tape. Okay, he did this here press conference, and somebody's gonna ask him right here. We heard you, somebody in your department told your officers to stand down, and listen to what his reply is.
Sarah Schulte with ABC7. Good afternoon, Superintendent. At any time, maybe you can clear this up too, at any time on Saturday were CPD officers told by dispatchers to stand down?
Well, I don't know about them being told by dispatchers. There was some communication between boots on the ground, the supervisor, and the chief of patrol. So there was some communication by phone. There was something that was put out there that there was an internal message that came from the chief of patrol. That is absolutely not true. There is no internal message. There was a phone conversation. I'm not sure until we get to our after action, all of the exact language that was there. But I have had a conversation with the chief of patrol who was concerned about officers showing up on the scene. The chief of patrol at that time had no information that anyone was in danger. And let me just be clear about one other thing when it comes to these federal agents. These federal agents can handle themselves. All right? We've been out there, we've seen it. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to leave them because we know that they can handle themselves. We need to make sure that we have our officers and enough of them to respond to a scene if they are being surrounded. So were they told to stand down? Our officers were not told to stand down. Our officers were out there throughout the entire event. I would never tell our officers to stand down, because if our officers were in trouble and we needed help from other officers, I would expect those officers to step in and help us. And it's the same thing that we do on our side. When someone is in trouble, we're going to step in. So to get a little more information about that, we'll know by tomorrow what that exact conversation was.
Okay, well, we already know what the exact conversation was. We heard the call, and that lady, now I don't know if y'all gonna have to talk to her, whatever, but she did say, we waving cars away from now, and that to stand down, point blank period. We heard it, and so now y'all gonna have to talk to her. We don't know where she got that from. You say that the state patrol, your patrol officer, was kind of worried about your officers going to the scene. That right there, shaky and flaky. You might want to talk to patrol guy too, because if he was worried about his officers going to the scene, then did he say that? Where did this lady get that from to go over there, radio and tell them to stand down, waving all cars away? Okay. So, like he said, tomorrow we'll have more information about that. Well, that's when tomorrow came and that call was leaked. They said those calls was leaked, and that ticket I showed y'all where the call came in, the date and all that, they said it was leaked from some officers who were upset that they was told to stand down when their fellow officers with badges, rather state or federal level, was in trouble, and they was told not to help them. Okay, so that's how that went. But let me see what y'all saying in the chat. What's going on? I said night. Okay. I seen my girl in here, Lawrence. What's going on? Yeah, Lawrence said they're doing their job right. Yeah. Devin Clamp, shout out. She sank his battleship. Salute, salute, salute. How you doing? Thank you for joining us today. Yeah, so I don't know how they're gonna get that straight, but hey, it done leaked out now. So somebody said it, somebody gave that command. Who it was, we don't know. Hopefully they get that together, because that was heartbreaking to hear. That really was heartbreaking to hear. So the bottom line is, stop putting y'all hands and feet, protesters, on ice. Stop running your vehicles into them. Stop throwing objects and throwing saliva and all that stuff before y'all ass be down there eating them sardine sandwiches now for about 5 or 10 years. That's what they giving now. They'll give you about 5 or 10 years for that. I'm telling you. But see, y'all really don't be knowing. Y'all taking these folks for a joke. But see, we know. You see, it says, yes, you can go to jail for fighting ICE agents, assaulting and resisting and interfering with a federal officer, including an ICE agent. It is a serious federal crime with penalties that range from fines to decades in prison. I'm telling you, them feds, man, decades in prison. Y'all want to keep eating them sardine sandwiches? Go ahead on. Be my guest. It's been plenty of times that we have seen, I ain't gonna say plenty of times, but some of us have seen where maybe a relative of ours or a good friend of ours have got arrested with us standing there, you know? And what we do is say, hey there, John, we'll try to get you up out of there, just give us a call, tell us, we're going to follow you down there and see what your bail is, and we're going to try to get you up out of there, whatever. That's how you handle that. So if ICE or somebody is detaining somebody of yours, just see if y'all can find a proper way to get this person legal, or see if they can give them a chance to get their legal information the right way, get legal green cards the right way, get citizenship the right way. See if y'all can talk them into that. If you can't, then it's just a loss. It's sometimes that John or whoever our friend is, when they take them down, it's a loss. They got to do about 2, 3, 5 years. We can't do nothing about that. We just have to, just put some money on their books, What happened to all of that? Sweetie said it's no bond in Chicago. Wow. Okay. But, so that's what I just had to tell y'all on that. I'm gonna go to Cantrell. Cantrell done ran around there, and she done had all these here nice flings and romantic rendezvous with Vappy. Now she up there talking about New Orleans needs $74 million. They are about they're about $100 million short in debt this year. and that she need for the taxpayers to, stand up and pay for that 74 mil that they in the hole. Now she been running around for years chasing Vappy's sausage, and Vappy been chasing her fish. They've been spending them taxpayers' dollars on these little rendezvous and all that stuff, all off in these little motels, taking expensive trips all across these United States, taking first class air flights, all that with the tax dollars, and now she is begging for $74 million, and she says she gonna hike it up out them taxpayers, even though the taxpayers have already funded all her playtime. Okay, yes. Now, my question is, why didn't her and Vappy pay back them 5 and 7 years that they've been doing Hank Pank? How come she ain't paying that back and put it towards them 74 mil she asking for, so that number can come down a little bit? I'm sorry. Okay, now let me let y'all hear what she said. She said she need that money, and she need it quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Control proposes $74 million in new taxes and fees in an effort to balance the city's book.
Council members say revenues are falling about $100 million short.
What? So how was she traveling?
Thought about my mother, and you go and you ask mama for something. I want this and I want that, and mama, well, I don't have it.
During an often contentious 2.5-hour final budget presentation, Mayor LaToya Cantrell proposed big increases in sales taxes, parking fines, and business permitting fees totaling about $75 million in new money.
The budget that we proposed for 2025, it was balanced. Up, down, side.
Now she's talking about the money we proposed for 2025. It was balanced. No, it wasn't no balance. And if it was balanced, why did y'all go on all those old trips, you and Vappy? That's what we want to know. It was unbalanced when y'all started taking $500 to $700 first class flights all over these United States, and doing wine testing all over overseas and all that right there. Then you were calling in on your schedule when you was supposed to be at meetings. You was calling off on the meetings so that you can go be with Vappy. Clapping Vappy. Yes, why you were clapping? You was spending all them folks' money, and you're going to tell us it was balanced. If it was balanced, then how come y'all in debt? It ain't no way them books was balanced this year, and then at the beginning of the year, and now y'all in debt $100 million? Come on now. Girl.
Ways, no doubt about it. But that budget,
listen to the family said the books was balanced. Hold on. Listen to her say the books was balanced. No, they weren't.
The budget that we proposed for 2025, it was balanced.
Listen, it was balanced.
Up, down, sideways, no doubt about it. But that budget was increased by nearly $70 million by our council. That's you.
But council members said it's not that easy. We collectively passed the budget, and we collectively bear the burden of resolving the budget. But that was not the messaging that we heard just a moment ago. While the size of this budget deficit is substantial, council members say the mayor's travel habits haven't helped. The council president says money was so tight this year they were not able to hire a top assistant in Homeland Security. And how much was that volunteer coordinator? $55,000. And how much was the flight to Nice? It was about $50,000.
Okay. So that city council said while they up there begging, they said how much we owe for this here bill. They said $50,000. He said, okay, so how much was that trip to Belize? He said, $50,000. Yes. So see, it's a lot of bills y'all could have paid, but nah, y'all was taking them lavish trips. And Darlene Chestnut, you got me hollering over here. She said that she said Cantrell were having pajama parties. Y'all wrong for this. Yes, yes, pajama parties, yes. What? So that's it, family. So she want the people to pay for that 74 mil, and she said she gonna hike them taxes up. And I'm telling you, New Orleans taxes is higher than a giraffe's ass, okay? Because we go there all the time, okay? At least once every 2 weeks. Them taxes is high. And they taxes already in New Orleans for their hotel, they taxes are 40% tax. 40% tax. Now, I'm telling you, I would have known now. I got the receipts in here. 40% tax already. And she talking about going up some more to come up out of a $100 million deficit after she done cruised and played all over the place for about 8 years. Look, and the high crime is out of control. Yes. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. A hot mess. And this is that city council meeting that they were talking about how much that, and you can see right there, she wasn't paying that city a bit of attention. She was gazing on this man's eyes and all that stuff like that. She ain't studying no 74 million in debt. She wasn't even thinking about the city was falling in debt at this here time. No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't. It ain't until after she done got indicted, now all of a sudden, they need money. No, because you done got indicted. Now you trying to dig in the taxpayers' pocket some more. No, dig in your pocket. Dig in your pocket. Now, let me talk about this, because in Montgomery, Alabama, that you had some savages around there, and they had a big game Saturday between Tuscaloosa. I mean, everything seemed like they was happening Saturday. ICE was over there in Chicago getting jumped. And then over here, way in Alabama, Montgomery, you had some savages at a Tuskegee game with Morehouse. They had played each other college football. And here come backyard Kens pow-powing all in the middle of downtown. And then 2 was deleted. And then you had about 12 more injured, okay? And they put out a $50,000 award. They said they got like 2 of them in custody now, but they was all over the place. Yeah. So as y'all would see, 12 other people were also piled. As of noon, the chief said that the number of victims with life-threatening injuries is up from 3 to 5. 7 others are being treated for non-threatening pow wounds, okay? So it was just a hot mess. You can't even go to a college game without some mess breaking out. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, Alabama is where... See, the Birmingham 8 is already getting ready to get life. And I think they're taking a little bit too long for that, because they should have been up in court, okay? And once they go to court and they hand down their sentence, that's going to send a message to a lot of people. But now they finna make an example, not only out of Birmingham 8, but out of these people here who has done this. Now, the governor of Alabama said that it seems like Birmingham and Montgomery can't get their crimes in order, and that she gonna mess around and send for the National Guard and have the National Guard see if they can get it under control. And I don't think they're gonna want that. And I can tell you right now, if she send the National Guard, you best to believe the residents in Alabama is not going to be running up on the National Guard trying to jump on them. Oh, no, that is not going to happen. You was slap going down there eating them sardine sandwiches for about 50 years. Mess with them if you want to. But anyway, the savages did that, family. And now they have it to where Alabama have all these enforcements out in full effect right now. They have the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, Montgomery County Sheriff Office, and the District Attorney's Office, Alabama Capitol Police, Alabama Fusion Center, and federal partners, including the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, the U.S. Marshal Service, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or ATF. Alabama is not playing with them. All of them is out there on the streets now of Birmingham and Montgomery. Try them if you want to. It ain't gonna be nothing nice. I bet y'all be eating sardine sandwiches. Yes. Yes, with no water. None of that. None of that. Try to eat, folks, if y'all want to, but I just had to show y'all about that. So it was the game between Tuskegee University and Morehouse College. Yes. And they cut a buck. And it was a big old like bowl. It was the Campton Bowl. And they went up there acting a fool all downtown. And y'all will see right there that the Governor Ivory responds. And she said, we stand ready to send out the Alabama National Guard, whether they're needed. But right now, we're on standby. And yeah, they on standby because y'all just heard all them doggone police agents she got out there on the streets. Yes, of Birmingham and Montgomery. So they ain't playing. This is the governor. This is the Senator Tommy Tuberville. He's one of the senators of Alabama. He's saying he wants the National Guard to come down in Birmingham and Montgomery anyway. He said he don't care nothing about it. He said he wants them to deploy the National Guards to Birmingham and Montgomery to fight rapid crime. Okay, they tired of. Okay. So now Diddy lawyer's family, his lawyers said that the judge is out here playing the 13th juror. He said, and they said they ain't going for it. They are not going for it, and they're gonna put in an appeal. And they said that the appeal should be ready to put in pretty soon, but they don't like the fact that the judge played the 13th juror during Diddy's sentencing. And so they said that what the judge did was they feel he took a lot of consideration of Diddy's sentence on charges he was already acquitted of. And so they said they ain't going for it. They ain't going for it. So you see Diddy lawyer blast the judge as 13th juror. They said he was acting like he the 13th juror instead of the judge handing down the sentence for P-tuition. That's all he's supposed to been doing was the P-tuition. But he started talking about how he did Cassie and all that like that. Cassie done already got paid for that. Millions and millions for that. And then he was acquitted of things that he's supposed to been, charged with for Cassie and the other chick, okay? 50 Cent baby mama. But so y'all see there that Diddy lawyer said that his team had requested that the judge sentence Combs to no more than 14 months in prison after the music mogul was convicted of P-tuition charges, but acquitted of racketeering and the ST. Okay, so he said Diddy was acquitted of all that, of the ST and racketeering, but when the judge was giving his sentence down, he still was bringing that under consideration, which they said that the judge can really do, but Diddy lawyer just not feeling it. They not feeling it, point blank period. Okay. He said no. So right now, I'm just gonna say, let me now the thing about the appeal is the appeal it's gonna argue that the lower court made a legal error. That's basically what that appeal is. And then the higher court, which is called the appellate court, they're going to see rather, or they're going to determine if the decision that the judge made should be upheld, reversed, or sent back for a new trial. And me, family, my opinion, honey, I wouldn't want no new trial because it could end up with more years than what he already got. I think he did good with getting those 4 years and then 1 year credit to it, which would make him 3 years. I think that's about as less as Diddy gonna get. Mess around there and they call for a new trial. It might not go the same. I don't know. What y'all think, family? Anyway, if anybody would like to call in, you can. Right quick. The number is 678-394517. If you want to call in and talk about any of these subjects that we talked about tonight, feel free to do so. I'm only going to keep the line open for a little while. And if y'all would like to discuss anything that we talked about, just call in. Call in. Once again, the number is 678-439-4517. And y'all can call in and talk about any subject that y'all would like to talk about. And like I said, y'all just keep y'all hands off ICE protesters down there in Chicago, because y'all don't want this thing to end badly. You really don't. You don't want it to end badly. So, I mean, if ICE is doing something that is against rules, laws that y'all feel, you put in a report. That's all. Just put in a report. That's how I look at it. Let me see what y'all saying here. He will be out before. Darlene said he will be out before he get another trial. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. John Benjamin, what's up? What's up, family? He said, you are simply the best cafe of knowledge. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Sending love and hugs to you and to the whole chat, to the whole knowledge family. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for the awesome uplifting words and support. For real. Richard Phillips. I wash my sardines down with buttermilk. Really? Oh man, is that good? I don't think they gonna give no buttermilk in the pen. No, I don't think they getting buttermilk in no pen, honey. No, ain't no buttermilk. Unless they give them that sour milk. They give them that sour milk. They do use sour milk to make buttermilk. So now they can get that carton of milk and let it go sour and drink that with them sardine sandwiches. Because that's basically what they're going to get down there. And they lucky if they get that in Alabama. Shit. Give them a half of a sardine sandwich. And they're going to be old. I'm telling you. Once again, thank you, Kendall R. 678-439-4517. I give people a few more minutes to call in. If not, and what I'm doing, family, is I'm just giving more time to interact, with my subscribers and with the chat and things like that. And I've just been going live when I think that people are off of work. I might do one about 5 o'clock the next time or something like that. But just to give people time to talk to me or say hello or whatever they want to do, at least I could do that, because most of the time y'all just have to be on a pre-recorded thing. And I do want to give a shout out to Bev. Bev, she donated in the video, the last video. I want to thank her for doing that. Also, everybody who, because I think I forgot to call that out. No, I think she put that in the comment section, and in the last video, donated in the comment section. So I want to say shout out to Bev. Thank you so much for your generosity. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. And once again, for this evening, Jerry K. Lipcomb, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your generosity. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. But I'm gonna read some more of the chat. Yeah, Knight said it's unnecessary to put your hands on ICE. It is, you know. Yeah, you right, because they are serious. They special trained, man. I mean, all police officers are state and federal level, but them feds, man, they don't really be playing like that. You know. Knight said no milk for anybody. Yes, William Allen, salute, salute, salute. Yeah. But I tell you, I hope that Chicago get it together. But y'all know what I really think, family. And then I'm gonna close out on this. This is what I really think. I think that dispatch call that went out and was basically saying stand down, I wouldn't be surprised in another 6 months we see everybody that was involved in that stand down mess sitting in front of Congress and answer some questions. Because that right there, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if they have people sitting in front of Congress and up there. You know how they be having everybody else sitting up there. Well, did you know this? And why did you do this? And who was in charge of this? And who was in charge of that? And then you got all of them ganging up on you, asking all kind of questions. In a situation like this, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens in about another 6 months to a year, that we see them having to answer some questions up there about that specific situation when when your federal fellow men needed help. That call went out. Rather, some superiors didn't know it went out or did know it went out. Somebody's gonna have to answer to something. That's how I feel. But anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. And I appreciate it. Kendall R., thank you so much. I'm talking about Kendall R. has been rocking with Cafe since the beginning of time. Thank you. And still it's so much love, hugs, and kisses to you, Kendall R. Love you, love you, love you. Love to the Knowledge family. Sending love and hugs to you all. I appreciate y'all's support. I appreciate y'all hitting the like button. I just appreciate y'all. Thank you for the ones in the comment section. Thank you to the replay gang. Thank you to all of y'all. Y'all really do show so much love. And I appreciate that. I really do. I really do appreciate that, y'all. So thank y'all. Shout outs to each and every one of y'all. And I'll see y'all pretty soon. Gain knowledge to prevent blockage, and we all know what that means. The more you know, the harder it is for anybody to block y'all from your goals and success. Bye-bye. I got to stop it. Bye-bye. What all y'all saying? Oh, blessed and be safe, everyone. Yes, yes, yes. Loves and hugs to you all. Yes.